postgrad or not to postgrad? That is the question. Okay, so I'm making this video. It's aimed at final year engineering students, but basically, let's say anyone can listen to this. I'm motivating for why you should do a master's degree with a bigger picture of why do research. Why do we do research at all? Okay, so firstly, why I'm in engineering. So why do research in engineering? And I would say, it's a good question. So if you are an engineer, like I said, this is for final years, so go back to when you were a young, naive, enthusiastic, first year, 18-year-old student, new to the university, with all these dreams, ambitions, and maybe now after the 4 years, minimum for some of you, not most, might be 5-6 years to get to this point, you start questioning, why the hell did I do this? Why study engineering? So I quickly want to remind you. Of course, there's a couple of different reasons for why you got into engineering. Maybe your parents forced you. You know, they said do engineering is a good career choice without really knowing why. Or you were good in science and maths at school, and you thought, okay, well, what do you do? Engineering. Or maybe you are just curious, a curious person, curiosity driven. You want to know how the world works, figure it all out. And that's why you studied engineering. To figure out the world, how it works, how all of this works and comes together. And then how can I use that knowledge and the skills to actually make an impact, to improve the world. So if you're the latter case, yes, I've got answers for you. So you have to reconnect with your first year naive self, and remember that again. So there was a good reason for studying engineering in the first place. It's fun. It's Confucius said that choose a job you love and you will never work a day in your life, and that's so true, and that's true of engineering. I sometimes over a weekend true of engineering and research, and not just engineering, all STEM disciplines. So quickly back to my story. On a weekend, I sometimes either sit with a beer in Bohemia, or on the dance floor even, talking to my non-engineer friends, and they just want to drink on weekends and forget about the week, and it's all these stories. And I sometimes find myself wishing it was Monday morning and I can go back to work, but it's so much fun. No, true. So it's about getting knowledge and then using that knowledge to improve lives, and change the world. So in let's say your 4 years, 5-6 years undergrad program, that's where you learn all the fundamental knowledge you need. The universal forces, particles, how they all interact and work together in all the different fields, subjects. And so now you have all the knowledge, all the skills, and now is the time to actually apply that and change the world. That's what it's about, changing the world, making an impact. And I'm telling you now, you won't make an impact working in the mines, installing air conditioners, maintenance, or working on boilers, even oil rigs, going to work for a big oil company, mining company, and even building the back end for backends for banking systems. No, you're wasting your skills. To make a difference, you do research. Go into research. I mean, you maybe also want to make money. I can maybe come back to the money part. But it's about making a difference, and you really make a difference by doing research. So you have all the skills and knowledge now, and now you want to apply it. Apply it where you can make a difference and make an impact. So I want to give a couple of examples of the types of research we do here at Stellenbosch University. Stuff you can actually become a part of. So really fascinating, interesting, great stuff. So take for seconds the universe. So I don't know. In 2015, they published a couple of papers with data from the Planck satellite. I mean, firstly, the Planck satellite, that's an enormous engineering feat to make that satellite, and send it out into space, and with all the data it's recorded, and basically with all the data what was recorded, cosmic microwave background radiation, the elements in the universe. With all of that data, they now predict the age of the universe as 13.799 billion years, so 13.8 billion years, plus or minus 22 million years. What? Plus or minus 22 million? That's the accuracy they have with the data at the moment. And of course, using the standard cosmological model they have, that's just the best model we have at the moment for describing the universe and the birth and evolution of the universe. And that's where we come in, where you can do research. So at the moment, there's a big international collaborative initiative to make the largest radio telescope known to man ever in the world. And Stellenbosch University and South Africa is playing a leading role in this. It's called the Square Kilometre Array, the SKA. So it's literally millions of satellites or receivers, antennas spread across the world, all working together to take a picture of the universe, of the early universe. And before the first stars were born, first galaxies, to pierce back into space, into the dark ages before there were any stars. I mean, how fascinating is that? And to answer those questions, firstly, let's ask the questions, and then to answer those questions of where do we come from? Why are we here? Those fundamental questions we ask. So, doing research, you can help answer these questions. You're not going to win a Nobel Prize working on a mine, making some other guy rich. No. Doing fundamental research. And I mean, improving the world. It gets me all excited. That's why I get up every morning, go to work. So becoming a part of that. And it's a big feat. Imagine we sort of have an idea of what to expect with this new telescope we're making. But imagine what we can discover. Imagine what we can discover what we're not expecting. Imagine all the new, exciting stuff. It can change the world. This will change our whole current perception and idea of the universe. Wow. So quickly on the universe, a couple of interesting facts. It's now estimated that there's around 2 trillion galaxies. 2 trillion galaxies. Each with more than 100 billion stars. It's enormous, this universe. It's huge. It's mind-boggling. And I always say that if you start asking these questions and getting answers of the universe and the world we're living in is so much more awe-inspiring, so much more beautiful than fairy tales we hear. So if you open your eyes and actually do research in this and ask the questions and just be curious, It's so fascinating. It's a curious, it's an awe-inspiring world. It fills me with joy. I love this. I mean, that's one quick part. Okay, next one. Talking about billions and trillions of galaxies and billions of stars. Our consciousness is one way the universe is experiencing itself. I mean, we are part of the universe. Our atoms in our hands and face everywhere in our bodies, they were made at the beginning of the universe 13.8 billion years ago. Every atom in your body was made. It was a long process before they got here, but I mean, it's poetic, it's beautiful. Anyways, and then somewhere the human species evolved out of a single-celled organism. The whole story. I'll make a video on this one day. And we have consciousness. We are conscious, and we have this 1.4 kilogram jelly-like organ in the head that defines who we are, and we have consciousness. You are conscious watching this video, conscious of me doing all of this and talking. You have a conscious experience, and this sort of emanates from the almost 100 billion neurons in the brain. The best estimate at the moment is 86 billion neurons in the brain, nerve cells, with about 1,000 to 10,000 connections per neuron, giving you, let's say, more or less 100 trillion connections. It's up there with the stars in the universe. Not as many, but this complex organ, and somehow we have consciousness. And for a very long time, the question of consciousness, and this was confined to late night cocktail parties after a couple of these. Maybe that's why I'm talking about this now. And philosophy classrooms, but not anymore. We can start answering these questions. What is consciousness? Do we have free will? Do we have free will? Well, not yes, we have. That's still open for debate. But yes, we can answer these questions, or we can start doing research, and so we can ask these questions, and we can start trying to answer these questions. We can now take this to the lab, and that's exactly again what we are doing at the moment at biomedical engineering. I'm part of the biomedical engineering research group at Stellenbosch University. And we are tackling these questions. We are asking these questions, and we are devising clever experiments to investigate this. So, do we have free will? Is there maybe... does your brain just decide what you do? Okay, it's a bit more difficult than that. Or you are your brain, but do you have conscious free will? Do you consciously decide what to do? Or are there signs that your brain makes a decision before you are consciously aware of that decision? That's the type of research we are doing at the moment. I mean, who wouldn't want to become a part of this? Neuroscience and understanding the brain and consciousness. That's the next challenge for humankind. That's the biggest challenge we're facing. The next frontier of science, and gosh, it gets me all excited. It's a Friday afternoon at the moment, and I'm already wishing for Monday morning to go back to work and figure all of this out. That's the point of research. It's fulfilling. It fills you with joy to do all of this. And I want to get back to something I mentioned earlier. The quote by Confucius. He was a great philosopher. Again, he said, "Find a job you love, and you will never work a day in your life." I'm telling you, that's what I'm doing at the moment. And that's what you can also do. And the first step to making a career out of research is doing a master's degree.